welcome to today's On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, author of On This Day in Tudor History. Now, today I'm taking you back to the reign of King Henry VII, the first of the Tudor monarchs. For on this day in Tudor history, the 7th of November 1485, just over 2 months after King Henry VII's forces had defeated those of King Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field, Henry VII's first parliament attainted Richard and his supporters. Here is an account from Raphael Holinshed's Chronicle. For the establishing of all things, as well touching the preservation of his own estate, as the commendable administration of justice and preferment of the commonwealth of his realm, he called his High Court of Parliament at Westminster the 7th day of November, wherein was attainted Richard, late Duke of Gloucester, calling and naming himself by usurpation King Richard III. Likewise, there was attainted as chief aiders and assistants to him in the battle at Bosworth, advanced against the present king, John, late Duke of Norfolk, Thomas, Earl of Surrey, Francis Lovell, Knight, Viscount Lovell, Walter Devereux, Knight, late Lord Ferrers, John Lord Zouche, Robert Harrington, Richard Charlton, Richard Ratcliffe, William Berkeley of Welly, Robert Middleton, James Harrington, Robert Brackenbury, Thomas Pilkington, Walter Hopton, William Catesby, Roger Wake, William Sapcott of the county of Huntingdon, Humphrey Stafford, William Clark of Wenlock, Geoffrey St. Germain, Richard Watkins, Herald of Arms, Richard Revel of Derbyshire, Thomas Poulter of the county of Kent, John Welsh, otherwise called Hastings, John Kendall, late secretary to the said Richard, late Duke of Gloucester, John Buck, Andrew Ratt, and William Brampton of Burford. In which attainder, nevertheless, there were divers clauses and provisos for the benefit of their wives and other persons that had or might claim any right, title, or interest lawfully unto any castles, manors, lordships, towns, townships, honours, lands, tenements, rents, services, fief farms, annuities, knights' fees, advowsons, reversions, remainders, and other hereditaments, whereof the said persons attainted were possessed or seized to the uses of such other persons, with a special proviso also that the said attainder should not be prejudicial to John Catesby Knight, Thomas Revel, and William Ashby Esquires, in, of, and upon the manor of Kirkby upon Rethock, in the county of Leicester, nor in, of, and upon any other lands and tenements in Kirkby aforesaid, Melton Somerby, Thropseyfield, and Godby, which they had of the gift and fiefment of Thomas Davers and John Lye. And further, notwithstanding this attainder, divers of the said persons afterwards were not only by the king pardoned, but also restored to their lands and livings. Phew! As you have seen from other videos and talks, yes, these parliamentary acts could be rather wordy. Now, in Henry VII's first Parliament on the History of Parliament website, Dr. Hans Kleineck explains that the business of Henry VII's first Parliament was naturally shaped by recent political events. The king's tenuous title to the throne had to be fortified by parliamentary sanction. His supporters, who'd been attainted of treason under Edward IV and Richard III, rehabilitated. The supporters of the dead Richard III attainted and their possessions seized. And that in that, by doing that, it was not very different from the parliaments that had opened the reigns of Edward IV and Richard III in 1461 and 1484. Supporters had to be rewarded and enemies had to be punished. That was the way of doing things. In a country that had been ravaged by civil war for decades, King Henry VII, the new king, had to make a strong show of his kingship. So this was to be expected. This was completely normal. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about a Tudor courtier who helped organise Henry VIII's education, was friends with Erasmus, and who had to give Catherine of Aragon some rather bad news she really didn't like. So do make sure that you're subscribed, click around about there, and that you've hit the bell so that you don't miss out on that video. Also on this day in Tudor history, the 7th of November 1541, Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury, visited Catherine Howard, 5th wife of King Henry VIII, in her chambers at Hampton Court Palace. Catherine had been confined to her chambers, and the Archbishop's job was to get the now hysterical Queen to talk, to confess. He visited her a few times over a period of 24 hours and finally got a confession from her. But what did Catherine have to say? You can find out all about Catherine Howard's confessions, and there were several in last year's video. You'll find a link to that in the description. Thank you for joining me today. You can leave a comment and you can give me a like as well. I really appreciate you following me. Take care, have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.